Hey guys, welcome back to the Third Hour podcast where we talk about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and the culture and real topics within it like modest fashion. I'm very excited to introduce our guest today. This is Amanda Barker. So you are the CEO of HalfTee, which is, if you haven't heard of them, you must be living under a rock or like aren't into modest fashion, I guess. But like it's such a great company. And we're going to talk to you all about like your business, being a mom, and modest fashion today. So thank you so much.
Excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I'm like, I followed HalfTee and Amanda for years. I feel like when we met, I'm like, I feel like we've met before because I feel like I've been following you for so long.
Same, likewise.
And so if people don't know you though, tell us like a little bit about yourself and who you are.
My name's Amanda, as you know, and I've been married for 25 years and we've got 8 kids. I've lived in Provo, Utah for 27. I played basketball at BYU and ended up
so cool.
Yeah, so cool. It was a long time ago, but and my husband's mom worked at the ticket office at the Marriott Center. That's where we would practice every day.
Mm-hmm.
And she essentially she did set us up. And
oh my gosh.
I know. It's a cute little love story.
Being set up by a mother-in-law, that's like an honor,
Right?
honestly.
I know. I often tease with her. I'm like, you had no idea what you were getting into. But just remember, you chose me. Okay?
You did this.
This is self-inflicted. But so I never left Provo. I really didn't realize that. I'm from Wyoming originally.
Uh-huh.
And Wyoming people don't generally move to Utah. There's like this unsaid written rule that Wyoming people don't live here.
Interesting. So like what was the thought? Like, did people think it was weird when you were coming to BYU? Did they think you were coming right back?
Absolutely. Well, I actually wanted to play basketball at the University of Wyoming. I'm actually from Laramie, where the university is.
Oh my gosh.
And it just so happened that they didn't want me. And so they didn't recruit me. They thought I was too small. And
yeah, you're like not super tall.
Yeah, I'm tiny. I'm like 5'3", but that's okay. Big things in a small package, right? But so I went and I played my first 2 years at a junior college in Twin Falls, College of Southern Idaho, and then I transferred and went to BYU. And it was actually at the time that BYU and Wyoming were still in the same conference. So it was the WAC. So we actually played Wyoming in our regular season, and we went and traveled to Laramie. And the whole time, the entire game, when I had the ball, the entire student section, and they have decent crowds even to women's basketball games, chanted "traitor" the whole time.
Stop it. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I'd have the ball and they'd be chanting "traitor, traitor." And then I'd pass it and become silent. And then I'd get it back and they start chanting.
Oh my gosh, for them to know the whole lore is crazy.
Yes. We know who our people are. So, and then I just never left. Tyler's from Provo. Uh-huh. My husband's from Provo. We live about a mile away from where he grew up. We live on Grandview Hill. Wow. And so we've been married 25 years. We've got 8 kids. Love being a mom. I'm very, very grateful that the Lord has blessed me with so many babies. I didn't realize lots of people say, did you plan on having 8 kids?
Uh-huh.
And 110%, no.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I thought we'd have 4 or 5 kids, like a typical, little Mormon family. But the Lord knew otherwise. So yeah, we've lived in our current house for about 14 years. And about 15 years ago, it was really a very spiritual experience, but I felt very strongly that I needed to start a company, and it was crop tops for Modesty. And at the time, it just made no sense whatsoever. And I was nursing my baby, number 5, Cruz is his name. And I was looking in my closet and I thought, oh my gosh, I want to wear this top, but I know in order to do so, I'm going to have to wear those, those typical full length layering tees. And I was nursing and it was hot. And I was like, I don't want to. Why can't somebody just make a top that covers the G's, gives a modest coverage in, the chest area. And just this light went on and the Spirit just said, why can't that be you? Oh and Tyler comes in and he said, and I said, I'm starting a company and it's going to be crop tops and I'm chopping them all off. And he looked at me like I had lost my mind. He's like, oh, that's sweet, honey. Like postpartum,
Oh
you're
my
going a little
gosh,
crazy
it's
with
the
all
hormones.
these kids. Yeah. And I looked at it, I said, I'm being serious. Just wait. Anyways,
Oh my gosh.
chopped off all the shirts that I had in my closet.
Because that's really all you need is
It's
from
all
here to
you
here.
need.
And that's what your product is.
Yes.
It's so good. I own many HalfTees myself. I'm a huge fan.
Love it.
I was
Thank
telling you,
you.
I was like, when I moved to Utah, I remember, I think, are you guys like in Deseret Book or something?
We used well, Siegel Book
used
has
to
their
be
own
Siegel.
has their own line. Yeah.
I just remember when I moved here, I was like 13 and my mom and I was like, had the typical struggles with modesty like every teenage girl does. And my mom is like, okay, now we're in Utah. There's this thing called HalfTees. And I was like, what? Like that is the coolest thing ever. So like I have known about your company forever.
That's so awesome.
And I just think it's such a genius idea. And it's so cool to see how you guys have now expanded and you have like another line that's like a little more coverage. And anyway, I just have so much respect for what you do. And it's so cool. It started with that prompting.
Yes.
So like, how was the journey like into entrepreneurship?
Well, I'm a PE teacher. That's what I graduated in. I mean, I'm a basketball coach, nothing really, nothing, but yet everything prepares you, right? That's how the Lord works is he's not ever going to give you anything that doesn't in one way or another make sense. And you have the skill set that you need. And if you don't, then you find it. But, nothing had prepared me to start a company. I'd never run a company. I'd never done anything like it. Wasn't into manufacturing. I don't even sew. So it wasn't like, so many people are like, oh, did you start making the first HalfTees? Essentially, yeah, my mom and I sat with her serger, but anywhere past that, no, I'm not like in my basement sewing HalfTees, right? Nor have I ever been. But it's just, it just happened. And it was starting a company is probably, I have 8 kids. So it's probably the hardest thing I have ever done in my entire life is starting something from scratch and learning what that looks like from scratch. And right. So you make a gazillion errors and you just pray that it's not the last error that's going to sink the ship, right? Or if it is that you've got, life vests and boats on board. But it's been a crazy hard journey. And what we were talking before with some of the most incredible experiences of my life as well. So, when people say, hey, I want to start a company, I'm like, oh, do you? Are you sure? How much do you love this? Because if you don't, it won't be worth it. So it's been a fun journey.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And so we'll get more into like the topic of modest fashion later, but like I would love to hear more about your mission behind it and like modesty and how that's kind of played into like creating the products that you've made.
So I think for women, our mantra is empowering women to dress modestly with confidence and ease, right? And that's really as women, if you Google what's the most important thing to women when it comes to clothes, comfort is number one. About 80%, it doesn't matter what demographic you're talking about. Comfort is important. But also, I think as women, we just want things to do what they say they're going to do, right?
Yep.
And that's when I think about HalfTee and when I think about the thousands of reviews that I've read and the pain points that we all have. And that, by the way, I don't care if you're 4 or 84 or if you are a size 00 or a size 32. It doesn't matter. The pain points are the same. And we all have those same pain points as women, particularly when it comes to fashion. And so we're constantly looking for those pieces and those items in our closets that is going to help eliminate some of those pain points. And we want those pieces that it's going to be the most effective, the most efficient. We're super into efficiency, right?
Yep.
And practicality, right? So when you put practicality and comfort together, that's when you have a product that's going to probably hit it out of the park. Because especially with women, those are 2 of the most important things when it comes to women and when it comes to them searching for different things that they're looking for.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, you're speaking my love languages.
Yes,
like efficiency, practicality. Like that's awesome.
It's comfortable. I mean, all the things is really what HalfTee is all about. And it really is about empowering. It's about liberating women to be able to, there is nothing, the bottom line is we got to get dressed every single day. We're not running around naked. We're not running around. I mean, we can, but we really don't want to. We don't want to run around in our PJs all day.
Right.
We don't as women really want that. But I think a lot of the times those hurdles that we're trying to cross it's exhausting. It's exhausting to find pieces and clothes that make us feel beautiful but we're still comfortable in them. And we can do all the things we're asked to do as women, as mothers specifically, right? Where we got to get up and we're going to be scrubbing a toilet and we're going to be puked on and we're going to go pick up dog, you know what, in the yard and maybe mow the yard while you're out there. And then we're going to come in and we're going to cook and we're going to clean and, or we're going to head to work. We're going to head to the PTA meetings. We got a soccer game later. The list is endless with the hats as women that we wear every single day. But how do we dress for that list?
Everything.
Right? How do we dress for that? And so I think a lot of times we're like, whatever, I'm putting on my leggings and a big t-shirt, a hat, and I am out the door because I know I can do stuff in that.
Yeah.
But really, when it comes down to it, when we show up to our day like that, I believe that how we show up to our day absolutely is key to how our day actually goes. So
I'm with you on that. Yep.
When we show up with and I don't care if you're slicky bun, that's fine. But with your however you want to do your hair, I do think there's levels. Messy bun is probably not great every single day, but taking a little time with our hair, putting a little makeup on, and putting a comfortable outfit together that we can do all the things. We're going to show up happier. We're going to show up feeling more confident, and we're going to show up ready and prepared. So HalfTee, that's what HalfTee is all about, is trying to give women those options, especially when it comes to modesty, when it comes to taking today's trends, every woman's pain points, whether they hate their arms, they're tired of their boobs hanging out, their bra strap, side boob, back, all the things that we'll hear, all the time. We're trying to at the very least, take those little pain points away. And all of a sudden, women are liberated. They're liberated to wear those things. They're liberated to walk into a store and say, I can wear that.
Yeah.
Oh, I can wear that. And all of a sudden, we're saying yes to getting dressed instead of saying, not worth it. Or, no, I can't wear that. Oh, I can't wear that. Or I can't wear that.
Which can be so discouraging, especially someone who wears garments.
Yes.
Like walking into a store and saying, I literally can't wear a single thing in here. And I love how you explain like dressing modestly and wearing HalfTees as liberating, because so often, I mean, as an LDS creator, I post a lot of modest outfits.
Right.
I get a lot of comments that are like, you dressing modestly is you just, following what all these old men are telling you to do. Like you're just doing what you're told. And I'm like, no, like this is how I want to dress. And like exactly what you explained. It's so cool hearing those different pain points. And I'm sure you have other people in your customers who are not members of the church, but still experience those benefits, which is like the coolest thing ever because everyone can benefit from it.
Yes, that has probably been my favorite part. So we do a lot of business with home shopping channels, right? Which makes us, we really are international. We've been to Germany, we've been to Italy, we've been in Canada on these home shopping channels. And what's so exciting, when we're Utah based, that's an easy low hanging fruit, right? Like, oh, perfect that you're in Utah with all the people that are wearing garments,
right?
But what's so exciting is that, and what I love learning is modesty really is a spectrum, right? There are so many different ideas of what modesty looks like, but I believe for the most part, 98% of women have a modesty place on the spectrum.
Yeah.
And it looks different, but we are all, and maybe it's a time and place. Maybe it's in the workforce, right? Where they're headed to work professionally. And what they want to wear out with their girlfriends is not professional, and it's not really acceptable to dress codes to show up at work wearing that same thing. And so we're all at different times, we are all under the pressures of dressing a certain standard, right? And so that's been my favorite thing, is that modesty is not a Mormon thing. Right. It's not. Modesty is not a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints issue. It is a woman issue.
Yeah.
And we have just tried to make it more acceptable to talk about and more comfortable to talk about. And then as easy as possible with the most comfort and practicality and all those things to solve it and to give you that peace that allows you to take whatever, like we said, whatever experience you're in and make it work for you.
Yeah.
But that's been my favorite thing is we think we're alone. We're not alone. And as women, we feel alone because we love to isolate, right? We love to make ourselves feel like we're the only one in the world that has this problem. And we're not. We're not. There's a lot of women that are anxiously striving to figure out what this looks like to them, whether it's as a mom or in the workplace, all those different things. So that's been my favorite thing is to
like that
recognize that. Yes, there's a community.
I love that. It's like there's so much comfort in knowing that we're not struggling with these things by ourselves, even as members of the church, like you said. I think that's such a good point.
Right.
So, this is so cool. And I want to like talk to you more about like being a business owner and a Latter-day Saint. And there's actually, so we have an advice segment on our show and I saw this and I was like, this is literally perfect for Amanda. So I want to read it to you and I'll get your take. We found this on the LDS subreddit.
Okay.
And it's about highlighting tithing in business.
Okay.
So they said, I have a small business and am contemplating highlighting on the packaging and on the website that 10% goes to charity, referring to tithing. Most of my family feels this is shady. I don't see any issue with it. It's 100% truthful. What do you say?
Interesting. I have never even considered that.
I know. I was like, that is such an interesting question.
It's true. I mean, it's especially if you're working in Utah and you are actually probably mostly hiring members of the church. It's true in every aspect. Here's the thing. This is my advice, is we need to trust each other a little bit more. If she feels impressed that she would like to do this because, and she's prayed about it and she feels impressed to do this, we need to trust it. We need to give women permission to follow their intuition and to follow their promptings. Because what if somebody says, bro, what are you talking about? 10%. What are you talking about? And that gives her the opportunity to say, well, every dollar I make, I give back to my church.
Yeah.
That is an awesome opportunity to share the gospel, to share the principle of tithing. And I think that that's something that I think about all the time. And I, in some of your question, maybe I'm jumping ahead of schedule, but trusting women that work, that are in the workforce, that are choosing to make these decisions to balance family, to balance children, to balance all these things. And we've got to give women more permission to follow those nudges.
Yeah.
Because I promise the guilt, the mom guilt factor is already pulling her down. Right. And God doesn't want that. That is not how God works. He wants us to feel empowered. He wants us to be living to our fullest expression. And so that's what my advice would be is, hey, where were you? What were you thinking about? And that would be my counsel with her. She came to me. Well, where were you? What were you thinking about? Do you feel inspired by this? Do you feel like that was a prompting?
Yeah.
And have you prayed about it? And if you have, and those answers are yes, I would say 110% slap that sticker on and let's see what comes from it.
Oh my gosh. I just love what you said so much about trusting women because I don't know if you've ever had like negative experiences with people being like, well, shouldn't you be at home? Like, would they say that if they knew how you were inspired to start HalfTee? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we need to be trusting in women and their promptings.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We need to
hear more about this because obviously you have 8 kids, which is a lot. And you started HalfTee when you had 5 and a baby, like a newborn, right?
Yes.
So like how have you balanced having your home life and your work life?
Well, I love how the Lord is line upon line, right? Building a business takes time, especially, I don't know if I could have chosen a harder thing to sell. I really don't. I mean, a crop top for Modesty there are on so many levels, the irony of trying to prove to people it's not just a crop top. It's not for your teenage daughter. It's, it stays in place. It's comfortable.
Yes.
All the things.
Which is like, I know how good it is. And I feel like you were talking about being on Home Shopping Network. I'm like, that's perfect because you can like explain it.
Demonstratable, right?
Yes,
and you can show people, you get to talk to the models, and the models are sitting up there like, this literally is the best thing I've ever worn. So you do get like hands-on and first impressions too a lot.
Right. But when you're first explaining it, probably like,
I mean, people, I can still remember the first. I went to What Women Want. Do you remember those, the What Women Want expos? You might be too young for them.
No, but it sounds so cool.
Yeah, they were cool.
Go.
Like, it was very entrepreneurial. It was bunch of booths, and it was very catered to women. Lots of different businesses came in to try to pitch their, not pitch, but to sell their ideas. Mm-hmm. And that was our first experience with sales was down in St. George at a What Women Want expo. I had samples. That's it. I had, I think, 2 basics and 2 long sleeves. And that's what we started with HalfTee, was a basic to cover the garments. And I just love the look of long sleeves. And I love the practicality of being able to extend your wardrobe and to be able to wear your clothes longer, right? So that is all I had. I had a yellow notebook, like the legal notebook. That's how I took orders. And I sold like over 200 HalfTees at this thing with my little brother, okay, who was like, I don't know, 16. So I'm trying to sell crop tops for Modesty with a 16-year-old, with the women coming up saying, what's my size? And he'd be like, oh, I don't know. Amanda, can you go? Anyways. So anyways, I don't even know why I told that story, but what were you talking about?
Balancing home life and
So I don't think I could have chosen anything harder, basically, right? To sell. And so it took time to grow. It took time to learn, to develop different business itineraries and really strategies and things like that. And again, I knew nothing about business strategy. So I was reading books and things like that. But I was grateful. I've been super grateful with just the process of also, this is probably one of my favorite things too, of doing something like this is watching how the Lord has taken my weaknesses and taken the things that I've needed in order to grow this company and putting the right people in place, right? Like, I was in business for about 1.5 years, and it was funny because I had been going to this commerce, this I can't remember. I think it's Utah Commerce or something like that, where it's basically where business people come together, get to know, and it's basically all you're doing is pitching yourself, right? And it really didn't make a ton of sense that I was there because it's generally just all men. And I had met these 2 business consultants, and I felt impressed. It was very expensive. I think I paid them $10,000 to consult with me. Oh my gosh. But one of their biggest things that they said is, Amanda, you're going to need, in order for you to go to the next step, we were doing quite well on online. We had a little kiosk in the university mall, and everything was doing well, and they could see the potential. And they said, you need another pair of hands. You're going to have to find a partner that can come in and help you grow. Yeah. And that's something, that's probably top 10 lesson is, if you want something great, you can't do great on your own. You have to bring great to the table and be willing to work with great people to help you be, to help take something big and make it great.
It's so hard to do. It's so hard to delegate when it's your baby.
Yes, it is scary. It's so scary. And so they had got me into this mindset. Well, literally within that same time frame, my old business partner, who was such a beautiful miracle, I was at home and I had this super strong impression, get to the kiosk. And I was like, everything's fine. I mean, the gal that was working there, she's like a 40-year-old mom. So it wasn't even like it was a teenager working, because a lot of times those are, a little sketch. But I was like, if I show up, Myrna is going to think, why are you here? Right. Like, why are you babysitting me? Right. So, but it would not go away. And so I called somebody over to babysit the kids, and I said, I just need to run to the kiosk for some reason. So I get there, and literally I'm walking in, and Myrna looks at me like, what are you doing? And I was like, I have no idea why I'm here. I'm just supposed to be here. And so I just start like cleaning up the car. And in about 10 minutes in, this spunky, tiny little thing walks up to the car and starts talking to Mern. And she had been a previous customer and she loved HalfTee and she's just going off. And I'm kind of just listening to her as Mern's talking to her. And she's like, this thing could be huge. Like you need to do this and this and this and da da da. And finally, I just went around the corner. I said, "Hey, I'm the owner. I would love to talk to you. You want to come talk to me about all these things?" Because Mern really had nothing to do with anything. So, anyways, Noelle is her name, and she and I, within probably 3 months, signed a contract. I brought her on as a partner, and she was that person, right? She was those hands to help HalfTee to between the two of us to help us to the next step. But that has been so fun to watch how the Lord has prepared me by these two men, prepared my mind and my attitude to be looking for that, right? To even be open to that. So
how did you first feel about it when they brought it up?
I was like, I don't need anybody, right? Like I got this. And it's scary to share a company. It's scary to bring on a business partner. If there's probably anything that you hear the most about, it's bad business partners, right? So that was scary, but without a doubt, she was who Heavenly Father knew I needed and she needed, and the whole thing was wonderful and it worked out great. Wow. And then ended up 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, she went on to do other things and it was fine. And we're still great friends and all those things. But that's what HalfTee needed during that time. She's the one that had connections into shopping channels and just tons of sales experience, wholesale accounts, those sort of things. Huge fashionista. I mean, I was still wearing my cargo shorts and t-shirts or, that's the other thing.
Which is coming back, by the way.
Yeah, it is. I'm actually I'm loving it. But, I wasn't even into fashion really. I was just into practicality. I was just into not wanting to have to work so hard and be so uncomfortable all the time. So, anyway, she brought on some wonderful aspects, but that really is probably the part about balance, right? That we were talking about is being open and willing to, and understanding you can't do everything. You can't. And if I wanted to be a mom, and at the time when I started HalfTee, I had no idea I had 3 more kids, getting ready to come down and join our family. Yeah. I thought I was done, to be completely honest. Wow. When we started HalfTee, I was pretty sure that I had my 5 babies and I was happy. And so at the time I had no idea there were 3 more little babies up there. But that really is that's the point is, yes, when I started, I did it in my basement. I sat at a little kid table. I mean, if you saw the the setup, I was putting HalfTees in manila folders, handwriting them out. My dad would pick up the bins and take them to the post office and stand in line for an hour to get them all, out. And then, I still remember the day when he walked in and he's like, "Amanda, have you ever heard of stamps.com?" And I was like, "No, what is it?" And when we could print out our own postage, now I didn't know enough to put it on sticky labels, then I'd print them off and I'd cut them out and I'd tape them on. The process is pretty awesome. But,
oh my gosh.
It's just understanding that. And then when I had Cooper, she's number 6, that's when I finally got my first nanny. Babysitter. And it was so cute because we would bounce, right? If I had calls or I need to go to the kiosk or something, I would go to work and she'd come in and help with the kids. Her name's Ashlyn, still one of my most favorite humans on the planet. And then then I would go inside, she'd come out and help ship products and things like that. And so that was kind of the first hey, I got to have some help. If I'm going to do this, then I need to be willing to get some help with the kids so that I can really do this well.
Yeah.
Anyways, now I've got, I've had a nanny for quite a while. I have somebody come and clean my house. Those are the little things that I've had to do as a mother. Mm-hmm. And I remember a friend of mine saying, you've got to take off your plate as a mother what doesn't affect your mothering. It doesn't matter who does your laundry. Right. As long as your kids have clean clothes and the laundry gets done. Yeah. Right. It doesn't matter if you clean your own house as long as your home is clean and orderly. Mm-hmm. Right. Anyways, so that was a pretty powerful
that must have been so freeing.
It was.
I feel so often we're so tied, like the role of a mother is so tied to those domestic labor things when it really doesn't have to be.
No.
Like if you look at the family proclamation and what's most important for the mother to be doing, it's not that.
Right.
Even though sometimes it, like, I don't know, that the world, or I don't know who is making it feel that way. Maybe Satan is the one that's driving us in, like, to the things that aren't actually important.
The mom guilt, right?
Yes.
It really comes back to that mom guilt.
Yeah.
And that we don't, I don't want to come home after I'm done working and know that now I've got 5 loads of laundry. I mean, I've got 8 kids, so we do a lot of freaking laundry every day.
Yeah.
I want to be in the car with my kids. I want to be taking them to their activities. I want to have that opportunity to chat with them after school. I want to be home after school. I don't want to be stuck in my room folding laundry while yelling at everybody, right? And so there's just some give and take there. And that's really how I believe you've got to find balance as a woman. And that's something that running a company has taught me, is there are others that can probably do things better than you can.
Yeah.
And you need to hold on to the things that you feel the strongest about, right? That goes with your home. That goes with your business. That goes with callings that you're serving in, different places that, even if you're on the PTA, I'm a high school basketball coach. I'm a coach at Provo High. There are so many different things, and I have to hold on to the things that I know I'm great at. And those other things, if it makes sense, I need to let those go and let others do what they do best.
Yeah.
Right? So that would be my advice for finding balance.
Well, I don't know if any of you needed that, but I needed that. So thank you.
You're
that
welcome.
It's such good advice, and like thinking about it from the other side too, of like trusting women who like maybe other people may not have understood, like, oh, why you got a nanny or why you have someone do like clean your house or things like that. But like, what can we do to be more supportive of women in the church who have other like ambitions outside of the home?
Right. And that I loved that question. I read through that question yesterday. It goes back to trust, right? It goes back to supporting each other. It goes back to giving each other permission. And this is something, I'm going to say this too. This has been, I call it my Martin Harris moments, where we battle and we wrestle with God. And we constantly go back. And I go back to Heavenly Father all the time still. It was probably about 10 years ago where he finally said, quit being Martin Harris. But I'd always go and say, are you sure this is what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Are you sure that I should, be out doing this instead of at home? Because I love being a mom. I loved being a mom. I never was at home thinking, oh, I wonder if there's something else I could be doing. I was very, very happy I hate laundry, so I was never happy with laundry. But I was fine doing laundry. I was fine cleaning my house.
Yeah.
I loved taking my kids. And I had, at the time I had 5 under, I think Charlie was 8 when we had our 5th baby. And so I've had them really close together, right?
That's a ton of work.
It's a lot of work.
Right now.
I know, I think about it now and I'm like, you're crazy. But I loved it. I was very, very, very happy. And I have a very strong testimony of motherhood. And I did not want to teach my girls that in order for them to feel like they were being a good woman, a strong, independent woman, that they needed to go outside of the home to find that. Because I didn't want to be that kind of example. It's been a really hard thing for me of trying to still exemplify motherhood and working outside the home at the level that I work outside the home. So I wrestled with this a lot. And finally, again, the Lord just said, quit asking. I've already given you your answer. I'll let you know if you're going too far, right? And so there has lots of times been nudges to say, you gotta lay off. Like you gotta come back and find some balance, or you gotta ask for a little bit more help, or you gotta delegate this off, or you gotta get off your phone. You really do got to get off your phone. So little promptings like that. But we have to trust women when they feel impressed. And not every woman's going to go out and start a company. I don't think that's it needs to happen either.
Yeah.
But they do, I believe as a whole, we do as women need to be empowered to get more involved with things outside our home. Whether that's getting involved at school, giving women permission to do that, or whether it's getting involved in politics, getting involved on boards, getting involved in our society, because we have a great power within us to bring perspective and to bring balance to what is happening all around us.
Yes.
Right?
I love that.
And if we can find that strength and if we can find that balance, and I believe men as a whole, I don't get into all this men slamming. I just don't. I don't believe it. I believe men as a whole are doing their very best that they know how. And I believe that their innate ability to support and want to provide and do those things and protect, that is what God has blessed them with as men.
Yeah.
And so I think that it takes our voices to bring the balance even with that, right? So the more opportunities we can find for that. But again, trusting. I love that women can work at the temple now. I love that we are able to get a little bit more involved in that aspect. That's new. I mean, that is so fresh. Yes, women that I think, don't quote me on this, but as long as you had somebody in the house, 18 and younger, women were not allowed to go and take temple shifts. That's brand spanking new.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So this whole, like one of my very best friends has a shift every week on Wednesdays. And I just think, oh my gosh, how is that is blessing their family's life to watch their mom go, and how scary and how hard that is with little kids, and the kids have to step up and babysit while mom's at the temple. It's been crazy. She's like, I didn't even think about summer. Like, I was just excited. All the kids are in school, so I'm going to go do a temple shift. She's like, and then I was like, I got summer to do it. But I'm just so glad that little things like that are shifting, and those are the opportunities and the experiences and the times as women we need to say, hey, it's Wednesday. You've been at the temple. Do you need anything? Do your kids need to come over? You know, like taking those little shifts and supporting each other like that.
Yeah.
That's what's going to, honestly, I believe it's not going to be a man that does it. It's going to be other women stepping up, supporting women in their intuitions, in their promptings, in their nudges to go and do the things that the Lord is asking them to do.
I love that so much. I wish you were in every ward and could like support. You were like the most supportive, the best. Because like we need to trust each other and like lay off the mom guilt. Like you said, it's like we're going to have enough of that coming from ourselves. We do not need anyone else. Like it doesn't do any good. Like the best thing we can do is trust and support each other. And it's just so crucial.
It is.
Thank you for bringing that up. This has been such a good conversation.
Good.
Okay. Let's see. Another thing I wanted to do with you is like a little fun segment.
Okay.
So I was looking up some outfit ideas for summer 2024. And I thought it would be fun if we looked at the pictures and we say, okay, how can we make this modest?
That's so fun. I love this. Yes,
and
let's do it.
Obviously every answer could be adding a HalfTee.
Yes.
So, but we'll try to be more creative than that. But that could be the answer for some. And you have other products though too, because you have some HalfTees that are like a mock neck and some that are like different lengths and colors and styles. Literally, I'll pull up your site because I want everyone to see. But I'm like such a huge fan of you guys. So,
you are so great.
Let's pull up. Okay, so this one I thought was super cute. We have a little overalls moment. What would you do to kind of recreate this outfit in a modest way?
Well, I think this is quite modest. Being completely honest.
Yeah.
I think it's darling. I mean, the only thing I can really think about are the shorts are a little bit short. Right. And that's just, again, modesty is a spectrum.
Yeah,
it is. For a lot of girls, their moms might be super ecstatic that that's the length of shorts.
Literally.
Right? But for me, and for us as women, we would probably need a little bit longer short. But, you know, a lot of times we can unhem stuff too. And that's something that those shorts, they're normally just folded. So a lot of times you can unstitch the hems and get more length out of the shorts if that's something that you're looking for. And then the tee underneath is super modest. It's got sleeves. The neckline is fantastic. Overall, I think this is actually a really cute, modest, if you're not a garment wearer, really cute, modest way to style a pair of overalls.
Totally. Oh my gosh, I love that. I didn't even think about the unhemming.
Yeah, sometimes you can unhem those. And that's just something you need to just kind of check when you go and look at those. You just got to fold those over and see what kind of finish they have on the bottom of it. But even an unfinished hem on something like that would be darling if you just unstitched it and added a little length.
Oh my gosh.
You got 2 more inches in that for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all you need to like cover the garment. It's like just 1 or 2 more inches.
Exactly.
I was also thinking, I think you guys have these on your site too. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen like those jumpers.
Yes.
Like those are just so cute too. You guys sell those, right?
Yes, I love jumpers.
I'll have a picture inserted.
They're my favorite. I think that they're like the best. Honest, I really do. For moms, I think they are the best go-to put together things you can have in your closet. If you want to be super comfortable, but still look put together, a jumper's the way to go. You slap a HalfTee on underneath it, and you're so comfortable. You know, you can wear it with flip-flops. You can wear it with a cute pair of tennis shoes, depending on your jam. You can dress it up and put on a jean jacket. There's so many things you can do with jumpers and still look cute and put together.
Totally. Yeah, and it achieves jumpers. Like the same look too.
Yeah.
So
I love jumpers.
That. In the summer too, they're cool.
Yes.
Okay. I love that. Okay. Here's another one. This one's so cute. I feel like it's vacation vibes.
I love it.
Love it.
This, I mean, honestly, the biggest thing for me would be obviously garments. I would have a hard time, but you could absolutely style HalfTee underneath this. The spaghetti strap look with this crop top, the t-shirt, like kind of like HalfTee I have on right here. That t-shirt look is very trending. It's very in. Yeah. Right? And so I don't think you would even lose the overall look that you were trying to go for if you put a HalfTee underneath this.
Totally.
The length of the shirt, the crop length, that's gonna be a little tricky. So the higher the waistline on those pants, the better. Yes. But again, these are all different levels, and if you're comfortable with a little stomach hanging out, that's on you. But I really do think you could absolutely put a HalfTee underneath this. Totally. And really, you would have no idea. It would actually look very aesthetic. Yes. Very on trend and still get a little more
Oh my
modesty.
gosh, I know. I love when I started seeing like not modest fashion influencers, but just normal influencers start to do the layering with the t-shirt and the tank.
It's
I'm like,
so cute.
It is so cute. And I'm like, I used to be embarrassed by this when I was like in junior high. And now here it is. It's back. And honestly, I feel like confidence goes such a long way.
It does.
Like I used to be so insecure about dressing modestly when I was younger. And I'm like, honestly, if I just went and I owned it and I'm like, this is my personal style. No one would have thought twice. No. You know what I mean?
Yes. No one cares.
Yeah. No one cares but you. Like, and you're so worried about what other people think, and they're not even thinking. They're thinking about themselves.
Right.
Like,
I say that to my 13-year-old right now, and I'm like, one, can you do anything about that? Like, do you have any control over that? She's like, no. I say, why are you worrying about it?
Yeah.
And then she's just spewing. You know, teenagers are, especially like 7th, 8th, they're spewing all of these stories they've been telling in their head.
Yeah.
And I was like, you realize nobody cares. You're the only one that your hair is out of place and you're saying you look homeless. Nobody else has noticed except for you. You think they care way more than they actually do, Coop.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my gosh, you're probably right. I was like, I know I'm right.
It's so cute. No, it's totally that age. Like, yes.
It's hard.
Oh my gosh. Okay. But yeah, I will say though, the crop length thing is hard though. And I feel like that is like the new challenge with like garments. But I feel like you just have to know what you're looking for. And even like just like a basic t-shirt with this, it's like sometimes it can be hard to shop for modest clothes. But if you know what you're looking for in mind, it's easier because you can search for that.
You know what I mean? Can get this look. I mean, there are so many different lengths of top like this, right? Because I do think the cropped length is very flattering on women, especially if you're wearing your high-waisted pants. Yeah. It gives a really good proportion. And no matter your body shape, I think high-waisted is very flattering on women. Yeah. So it's just a matter of, you may not get that exact look, but you can get a cropped top like that, add a HalfTee underneath it. It hits just right above the strings, and you're still gonna get that silhouette, very flattering look without the skin showing. So sometimes you just gotta search a little bit more. But I believe that look is actually a lot more attainable than we think. It's just we gotta find a little bit longer spaghetti strap tank. And you can still
and with the wide leg pants, the wide leg for pants. Summer, they're like so cool. Okay.
Yep,
I
love
love that. Okay, here's another one. I feel like this one's so close too with the shorts. And shorts are hard because there's no half tees for shorts.
We actually have the cutest. So when we edit this, we have the cutest paper bag shorts.
I'm going to pull them up.
They're so stinking cute.
Yes.
And we actually, that's why I know this about hymns I made them adjustable. So when we tagged them on the, what's it called? On the hemline. We finished the short, then we rolled them up. Yeah, they're right there.
Right here.
Then we rolled them up, and if you needed more length, all you have to do is just go snip. You can kind of see them too.
No
like,
way.
See these so there's a little stitch there, and then there's stitches on both sides, and then there's one in back just to keep that roll. But if you just go take a little fabric needle, you can make those longer if you need them longer. So,
oh, look at you. You're so cute.
There I am.
Stop. That is literally the most genius idea I've ever heard.
And I'm actually low riding those, right? So that I did have the knee length because those particular shorts weren't snipped. But if you want, these are meant to be worn high-waisted.
Like more high-waisted.
Yeah. And then that ability to be able to change that length was something that was so important to me.
That is so smart. Yeah. These are so cute.
Yes, they're cute. So they're in a light denim and they're in a dark denim. And if you want that look like what we just talked about, that is a way that we can get this paper bagged, flowy short look with the length of short. And then, those square neck shirts, every cottagecore is super in this, this season. They're ruching the square neck. And we just all the time suggest our tank HalfTee underneath because our tank is square. It covers the bra straps. Yeah. It gives you a little bit more coverage here. And it does it I think, very flattering with the current neckline of that top. So if that's something that you're worried about, I think that the tank HalfTee is perfect for those necklines. And then a paper bag short. You can get those at HalfTee as well.
I love that. And I love with HalfTee, it's like you have so many different color options. So you can like get a white one that's like kind of just blends in. Or you can add something to your outfit and do different colors.
Little pop of
Sorry,
color.
This is not an ad, but like I'm literally just genuinely, it's such a good solution.
Yes, it is.
Okay, this was the last one because I thought
I love that
this dress was so pretty. I always look for maxi dresses.
Yes.
Because like we said, it's like it's always easier to add up here than it is down there.
Yes.
I mean, there's slips and stuff, but I feel like look for maxi dresses and then there's options for up top. So what would you do here?
Absolutely. So I would probably style this with our basic HalfTee, depending on, again, whether or not you need sleeve coverage or not, or I do a tank. We also have what's called a slip tee. So it's a slip with sleeves. So if this dress happens to be sheer or you need a slip and you don't want to have to wear an undershirt plus a slip, we have a slip tee that would be really cute underneath. This is out of our elegant fabric. So it goes really cute under dressier dresses and things like that. Yeah. So you could do a basic slip tee under this. You could do our boyfriend slip tee underneath this. But if you don't need that slip action, I would just do any color of HalfTee that you would want. I think blush pink would be so pretty with this look.
Yeah.
We have an elegant line of HalfTee. So if you just want to go super basic and do a basic elegant cap, I think adding, I think you could wear this into fall, honestly, because the blushes and the greens, matcha is a super trending color for 2024 of fall. So that matcha, that really light matcha green color is a huge color for fall. Yeah. So that's all in there. And I think that you could transition this into fall just by changing the sleeve length of HalfTee or even the color of HalfTee and then style it with a jean jacket. I think a cropped jean jacket would be really, really cute as well with this.
That would be so cute too.
Yeah,
I
think it's
love that. Okay, that was all of the like ones that I wanted to get your take on, but I was looking and honestly, like as I was doing research for this, I was like, there are so many, like none of these, as far as I know, are like LDS creators, but like look at these cute summer outfits. It's like, it's out there. And I feel like it's so easy for us as Latter-day Saints to be like, I'm the only one who has to like struggle with this and it's hot and whatever. And it's not cute, but like, look how many cute these, I think for garments, we need a couple extra inches, but these kinds of shorts are out there. Like we saw with HalfTee. It's like, there's so many great,
there is never a better time than right now.
Yes.
to be able to dress modest. There's
I'm
really not.
So with you.
Yes. I mean, the jorts are in, the gauchos are in, blazers are in, t-shirts under your spaghetti straps in, mock neck turtles underneath different styles year round in. There's never been a better time to have the desire to want to dress modestly.
Totally.
I don't think.
No, I'm so with you. And just like people embracing their personal style too, I feel like there's always going to be the trending pieces, but like I feel like with TikTok, it's like so many people are embracing what they like.
Yes.
And it's so cool and refreshing to see. And I just love seeing like how cute is this?
So cute.
Shut up. I'm obsessed. So anyway.
So cute. I love it.
I'm personally excited about like where we're at for Modesty.
I am too.
Right
I really
now.
am. I was passing by. I was just at the mall the other day, and I was passing by Cotton On, and I love what is it called, the app on your phone that sells Poshmark.
Oh yeah.
I wanted some old school gauchos, with the wide leg gaucho look. And so I found some. I think they're like Tommy Hilfiger. I bet they were made in the 80s. I think they're so cute. They have buttons up the front. And my oldest daughter just got home from a mission. And we can talk about this in a minute because I have, I know we're going to go down that road. But she's like, I want a pair of shorts like that, but they're drounder. She's tiny, right? And so but in Cotton On, they have that exact same gouge. They are so stinking cute.
I think I know exactly.
Do you know which
what
ones I'm talking about?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, they're so cute. They're
so
high-waisted,
cute.
gaucho, wide leg gaucho. And I was like, who is complaining about dressing modestly right now? Because there are so many things like that. Cotton On, the fact that Cotton On has a pair of cute gauchos.
Literally.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go take her and go get her a pair. But
oh my gosh, yes. You should.
I should.
Okay, yes. No, I so agree with you. And I feel like, I don't know. It's just so interesting. We talked about like general modesty, but I do want to transition more into like garments too. So I'm curious, just from your personal experience, like what was your transition into wearing garments like when you first got endowed?
I'm 47 years old. And it
That's
wasn't
crazy,
hard.
First of all. Like, I feel like you're my age.
I just turned 47.
Oh my gosh.
Yay!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. But I'm 47 years old, and I did go to school at BYU. I've really thought about this hard because one, it's a hot topic. Two, I have a returned missionary. She's not married. She's endowed. And she left in November, and her first summer coming back, and that transition for her was like, she cried and cried. And she's like, I didn't know this would be so hard. Yeah. And so we have so many different dynamics now, and we'll get into that. But for me, it wasn't hard. And I think, well, is it because the kids dress more immodestly now? And so that transition is harder. And I was like, no, I loved, even at BYU during the summer, yes, on campus, I was wearing knee-length everything and shoulders. But come summer, I was in my cutoff shorts and my ribbed tank tops. Like I didn't think about it. I just wore what I wore because I didn't wear garments. And then when I got married, never in a million years did I it was never even like a conversation in my head. Do I wear my garments today or do I not? Mm-hmm. Wow, I'm so annoyed today that I can't wear those same shorts. Yes, it came up sometimes. I loved them. I loved that look. And I still tell my kids, if I could wear, the only thing I miss is a halter, like a ribbed halter top tank. They're so cute. That's it. That's the only thing I miss. But it was never, I didn't really debate it in my mind all the time. I was endowed. I wore garments now. That's what my mom did. That's all I saw. That's really all we saw with our friends. There was people that wore garments and people that didn't. And the people who wore garments wore this, and the people that didn't wear this. It was so black and white, right? And so that transition for me wasn't hard. But now I would say it's one of the leading things that is troubling the saints. It's troubling, and it's turning into something that is distracting us and taking us away from what we know to be true.
Well, why do you think that is? Like, what's changed?
These are my personal opinions, my philosophies. Yes. I think that we have, I'm going to start with the younger generation. I think that we have so many more young women going on missions. They're going when they're 19 and they're coming back unmarried. And when they come back, they still have to feel feminine and pretty and honestly sexy and attractive because their job is now to go out and attract a husband, right? And I think that there's this hard battle of like, I don't feel attractive. I feel like I'm my mom. Like, I feel like I'm dressing like my mom, right? And so we have this huge surge of young women that are going, being endowed, but they're still in that world of young kids and what they're wearing. And it's not trending. Well, it is. We know that it is. But it's also a little tricky for them to feel like they're attractive when they feel like they're dressing like their mom.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so true.
Right?
Yes.
That's just what I think. That's what I've heard. That's what I've listened to.
I didn't even think about with all the new sister missions, but that's such a good point.
I think it's hard. I think it's hard for these kids. I didn't have to worry about that. I had my husband. I was married. It wasn't the thing. So I do think that that's hard. My second thing is that I didn't live in the day and age of social influence, of social media. And if all the women that have started their platforms as LDS influencers, modesty influencers that have now left the church is astronomical in my mind. And the fact is that these little kids are in social media. Our young women are in social media. And if we think as influencers, we are not influencing these young people, and if we think they're not noticing our changes and our shifts in how we dress, we are absolutely blind to what we're doing as influencers. And so I've watched, my girls from a very young age. Hey, Mom, why don't you wear shorts like this? Why don't you wear dress? Like, these are so cute. I know she's a member of the church. You need a style. These are so cute. These are, and I have to say, honey, she's not wearing her garments. Like, I can't wear those with my garments. And so we've put the garments where they used to be so black and white, right? It used to be so black and white. We've put the garments of the holy priesthood in the gray. And we've made them debatable. And these kids are noticing. Yeah. And they're getting very lost in the gray of what it actually looks like to be a covenant-keeping member of the church that has made covenants in the temple. Yeah. And instead of saying, I'm not even going to go close to that cliff, everybody now wants to get as close to the cliff as they possibly can without falling off. And what is happening is we're taking people with us. We're grabbing them by the hand of all of our feeds and all of our social media, and we are walking them to the cliff with us. And that's where I think I really feel like we as influencers and we as, young women's leaders and just in general, it's not just about us. Right. It's not about us. We are responsible in bringing as many people home with us as possible. Yeah. And I think that those are the two in the younger people, in my kids, in those younger demographics. I do. I think they're being very influenced by a lot of things that they're seeing in social media, and they're really just confused. They don't get it.
Such a good perspective. I hadn't thought about that before. And even if you don't have a huge influence on social media, like you said, like being a mom or being a young women's leader or just being like a woman who goes to church and like interacts with any kind of youth, it's so interesting. And I feel like it's so easy for us to, and I mean, it goes both ways, but it's so easy for us to say, the responsibility is on you as a social media user to kind of filter through and all of this, but you need to realize the influence and the impact that you're having. Is it bringing people closer? Like, is it bringing them off the cliff with you, or is it bringing them closer to the Savior?
Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I am so curious to hear, like, how have you taught modesty to your kids, to your girls and boys?
Yeah. First, well, I own a modesty company. That helps. That helps.
Makes it easy.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit easier. But my girls are, I I think time and place. God is about time and place. And I'm not under the impression that young women should dress the way that they dress when they are garment wearers. I don't believe in that. I believe that we should dress where we are. And yes, but at the same time, my girls dress more modestly. I don't want to see your stomach. I don't want to see your boobs, and I don't want to see your butt. That's what I say. Those are my standards. So, if I can see any three of those things, I'm going to tell you to turn back around and try again. It's not hard. But also my 11-year-old, when she comes up with like a little crop top that shows her stomach a little bit, that is different than when my 17-year-old comes up, right? With her very beautiful, lovely, feminine body. It's different.
Yeah.
And I think that our kids need to understand that. And they need to understand the responsibilities of being a girl versus being a young woman. They need to understand the responsibilities of being a young woman and choosing to go to the temple to make those covenants and what that looks like. The Come Follow Me lesson this week is all about the anti-Nephi Lehites, right? Mm-hmm. And how they buried their swords deep in the ground. And they never came back to them. They didn't leave the sword hilt up. They didn't barely put enough dirt that they could go snag it as soon as possible that they needed it, right? They buried it in the ground. And they did that because they knew. One, they knew that God knew what they knew. And they also knew that if they went back to the way that they were, the childish ways that they were, that they would lose their souls. And I think that that's something, I just thought about this morning, I was talking to my return missionary boy, is that, again, the Lord teaches line upon line, principle upon principle. Our responsibility is based on what we know and the covenants that we have made. And that goes with every aspect of our lives. Yeah. It goes with modesty. It goes with our language. It goes with how we show up to church, how we serve. And the sooner we can learn that, the better, right? Mm-hmm. But anyways, that's really, I really teach a lot about age appropriateness. Because the bigs will be mad that I'm letting the littles wear something, right? And it's different in my eyes. It's different. But I am not under the impression that I feel like we need to raise, and I do think the transition would be easier to wearing garments if that was a standard. I just don't feel like that's how the Lord works. I think he does line upon line, and he really, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. So that's how I've taught modesty. Is I don't want to see your boobs, your bum, or your stomach. If those are covered, I'm fine. Shoulders to me aren't a big deal. They just aren't. I don't think that I just don't think that's going to be distracting. And if it is, you have way bigger problems than the poor girl wearing shoulders, showing your shoulders. But anyways, and I don't, there's a lot. My goodness, I go through the rounds with finding where does the responsibility lie on dressing modestly for women and girls, and where's the responsibility lie for men and young men. And I have one daughter that we will battle because she is it's not my job to, keep men's minds clean and, which I agree. Yeah, I agree. But I also teach too that the principles and the things, the Strength of Youth pamphlet, where they used to be very strict, it's now a bunch of suggestions. We can go on that later. I hate suggestions. I love the hardcore. No, yes, same. As a parent, I would love just to have a few things in my back pocket. When they say why, I say Strength of Youth said it. Sorry, the prophet said it. That's what we're doing, right? But
totally, that's so real.
The Lord puts in place for us, especially his daughters. I believe this with my soul. He puts in place those things to keep us safe. It's not about body shaming. It's not about men trying to put women in their place. It is about the Lord wanting his daughters safe. And he knows the world. He knows his sons. He knows their weaknesses. Yeah. And if he can in any way protect his daughters from being put in situations that will make them less likely to be safe or to be preyed on or to be sexualized or all those things. That's his number one goal is to keep us safe.
Right. Because he's always going to respect our agency.
Yes. Yes. And we can choose.
Yeah.
We can choose. And men will choose, who we're with will choose, and they will make decisions too. But I don't know. And that's what I tell the girls. It's not about why does Heavenly Father make girls dress differently than boys? Because I think if you really look at it, you know why boys don't have we don't have that same conversation with boys as we do with girls.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's Heavenly Father wants his daughters to be safe, to be protected, to be honored, to be respected, to be seen for who they are, which is a daughter of God, and not for what they have or don't have on.
Right.
Right?
Right. Because
that goes back to, when we're with people, we haven't opened our mouths, what do they see first? What is people's first impression 98% of the time is based on what you're wearing.
Yeah.
And what does what you're wearing say about you as a person?
Yep.
And what does what you're wearing say about you as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? And that needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
Right? And we don't, then we want to middle finger it and say, oh, well, don't judge me. Don't judge me well, sorry. We're very visual.
Right.
And that's what we see, and that we are going to make judgments. And I don't think they're negative judgments. I just think that that's what we do. We go into an environment and we visually look and we start to make assumptions and judgments of what's going on and what to expect. That's what we're supposed to do to keep ourselves. It's like human nature.
Right.
So what is our first impression with people? Yeah. And a lot of those first impressions has to do with what we're in. It just is.
Yep.
It just is.
There's something I heard recently, and it's hard for me because I love fashion, I love makeup, I love beauty. Like, it's just something I've always been interested in. But it was like, I want my looks and like what I'm wearing to be the least interesting thing about me.
Oh, I love that.
And like, it can be hard because I'm like, of course I want you to notice my outfit. Like, I spent time putting this together, my makeup, whatever.
Right.
But like, I think that's what modesty comes down to.
Right.
Is it's about not distracting us from who we actually are inside. And President Nelson talks to us about like our divine identity and like not having these other labels and other distractions. And it's like, of course we can have fun with fashion. It can be a hobby, it can be an interest, but like it shouldn't take away from like our divine nature.
Well, and they shouldn't be surprised.
Right.
Right? Like it should mirror our what we wear should mirror what we are inside.
Yes.
And if there is a difference there, then we need to adjust that. It goes the opposite. If you're dressed all bougie and the first words out of your mouth are swear words or are less than intelligent things to be saying, that also is like people are like, whoa, that she is not anything or he is not anything like what I was expecting.
Right.
Like they need to align. They need to say and communicate similar things.
Yes. My gosh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're so low on time. I feel like I could talk to you forever about this. Like, this is it's been such a good conversation. But I want to end by asking you, how can we find joy in dressing modestly?
It's a mindset to me. We are representatives of Jesus Christ. And why do we have to be representatives? Because he's not here. Right?
Yeah.
He needs us to represent him in every way. And I believe we can find joy in that. I believe we can find joy when we have faith. Everything I always tell my kids, never gyp the Lord because he will never gyp you.
Oh, I love that.
And it's true. The Lord, he knows how hard it is to dress modest. He knows the pressures of society. He knows all the things that we're dealing with down here better than anybody else. But I believe when we choose to wear our shorts to our knees, one, we are representing Christ. There is nothing that says Mormon or Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or I know she's LDS, than a pair of long shorts.
Yeah.
There's just not, right? In fact, I have a friend, I was like, these shorts are so cute. She's like, those are way too long, and I do not want to look like a Mormon. She's not a member, but there's not. And so So if standing in the corner and somebody sees me and they know nothing about me, but they see that I have the longer shorts on and I'm dressed modestly, and that's their first thought is, oh, I wonder if she's one of those Mormons, because I only know Mormons that wear long shorts.
Right, when it's 100 degrees outside.
Right, when it's 100 degrees outside, right? Then I feel like I'm being a representative of Jesus Christ, and that brings me joy. Nothing we do for him, even the longer shorts, even when our garments, I think garments are shorter than they used to be. And we are giving a lot of different reasons as to why our shorts can be a little bit shorter. Our skirts can be a little bit shorter. But when we keep to those things, I believe the Lord will never gyp us in the blessings that come into our lives. When he can see and he recognizes the sacrifices and the decisions that we're trying to make to be a little bit different, to stand out a little bit more, those blessings will never, ever, ever not be what, I have this most beautiful quote. And I think it's so pertinent to this conversation. And I found it before because as I was driving over here, I was like, oh, that's the greatest quote. But it's from a talk called Worthy of Our Promised Blessings. And it's Linda S. Reeves. And she says, I don't know why we have the many trials that we have, but it is my personal feeling that the reward is so great, so eternal and everlasting, so joyful and beyond our understanding, that in that day of reward, we may feel to say, I'm getting chills, we may feel to say to our merciful, loving Father, was that all that was required?
Oh, it's so good.
Isn't that so good?
That I can't even fathom that. You know what I mean? It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. And we don't realize the power as members of the Church of Jesus Christ, as long short wearers, shoulder covering, we don't realize the impact that I have 3 kids on and I call them kids because they really are kids, kids on my team that ask me about garments all the time because they see, and listen, I run a company that I am on the internet a lot in a crop top. You are seeing my belly. So it is, but they see me in my garments all the time, but they are watching. People are watching. And are we setting a standard that is in the white of righteousness and commitment and doing what we say we're going to do? Or are we putting their questions in the gray? I get it all the time. Amanda, I swear she's a member of the church, but it doesn't look like she wears garments, or it doesn't look like she would even care about a HalfTee, because I just, and then they'll say, why? I'm confused. I'm confused why you have you are so strict about it. Is there a level? Do you get to choose? People are watching, and our kids are watching. And I want to be, and we all should want to be, that second, that third, that 11th, that 12th witness of what they're learning at home, right? We don't want to be the one that takes their questions and puts them in the gray. And then the parent becomes the one that's old and frumpy and dresses ugly because so-and-so, I know she goes to church and, wears garments, but she doesn't look old and frumpy. And you know what I mean? We want to strengthen people's testimonies by what we do and what we say and what we wear. And I believe that we will find joy in that because like the quote said, there will come a day that we will say, is that all that was required? And there is a lot of joy in remembering that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so good. And it's what an honor it is to be a disciple of Jesus Christ, a representative of him, since he's not here right now.
Right.
And I think just that mindset shift can get us out of that, oh, I wish I could wear my halter tank top,
Right.
Is but at the end of the day, is that all that was required? I love everything you said. It was just so good.
Right.
Thank you so
You're
much
very,
for
very
this
welcome.
conversation. You're like so wise, and I feel like I learned so much from you. So I can't thank you enough. And I know you're going to help so many people too. So if people want to follow you, like where can they stay in touch with you?
Oh, yes. I would love you to come follow us over at HalfTee, all things modest fashion, empowering women to dress modestly with ease. And then I have my own social media, It's Amanda Bean, where you just get a little bit more of the real life, mom life of entrepreneurship, lots of coaching, but just really what it looks like to be real about who we are. And as moms, that we just got to stick together. We need each other. Women need women. And we need to make sure that we are giving each other permission to empower each other to be our best selves.
Yep.
And it's going to look so different for everybody. And loving and living a life that's striving to have the Spirit with us. You know, President Nelson says there's never a time in the history of mankind that having the Spirit with us is so important.
Yeah.
Because we need each other we need each other to support each other, but we also need each other to say, you can do better.
Right.
And that's scary.
Right.
You can do better.
Yep.
And just being willing to be that friend on both ends of it, so that there's not a lack of trust, and it's not about competing with each other, but it truly is about lifting each other up to be our very best selves. So.
Oh my gosh. I wish we were like live closer. We could hang out. And like, I wish everyone had one of you in their ward and their friend group. You're like the best hype woman. I love that so much.
Well, thanks. That's so sweet.
Oh, I can't thank you enough for being here.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And thank you guys all so much for watching. We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Okay. See ya.
Oh, good.